All right, so this has really been my only trade this morning, shorting WATT. CNET is the main stock that's in play, but I can't find any shares to short, so I'm not even looking at it, and I'm trying not to look at it. WATT came up on my radar because this morning it was one of the biggest percent losers. I don't usually track big percent losers, but this is a stock that I know and I've traded, both long and short several times. If you remember, I gave one of my best buy alerts ever on the IPO day at 8. 2 days later, it was at 16. I'd sold too early because I was going to Turks and Caicos, and my puppy ate half an Advil. So that was an interesting and memorable trade. But lately, it's been fading, and there's a whole Seeking Alpha expose a few weeks ago, basically saying all these insiders have shares at pennies on the dollar. So it tanked the stock. I think it was right here when that Seeking Alpha article came out. It was some big red day, and the big question was, could it take out this, kind of failed cup and handle right here? And you had a bottom right here at 1030, a bottom here at 1055, and a bottom here at 1080. And on this red day, or maybe it was right here. I don't even know. Let me actually see when the Seeking Alpha what up. You can just do a Google search. There's a lot of Seeking Alpha stories. But if you type in the ticker, be prepared to lose all your investment. Yeah, that's a pretty scary headline. That was July 30th. So that was, this day. And that expose took it basically from 1370 down to 1080, 1090. But this support held, okay? No matter that people were scared. What are you doing over there? I've got a student here. Say what's up.
Hey.
Every now and then I like to pluck a dedicated student and just, spend a day or two with them. So this is Jai. Say hi.
Hi.
Again. How's it going so far?
It's going great.
We've been looking for chargers.
We're on the West Coast, so we're both a little bit tired.
Where it's out of control. Anyways, this expose did not break the support, okay? And ever since July 30th, and I'm filming this on September 22nd, so, we're talking several months here, it did not crack. We actually had a little crack right here, but it turned out to be a fake out. Now, today, when I saw it, I wasn't looking at it when it was down just a few percent, but I saw it was down to like 970, 960, and I was like, oh my God, is today the crack day? I immediately Googled this, and I was like, why is this down so much? There's no Seeking Alpha expose today. What's going on? Immediately, when you Google this stock, you see that there is a lockup expiration happening on September 24th. That's 2 days from now. So that means that insiders who were in, again, if you remember that expose, the insiders have ridiculous gains on this company that has no product, no revenues. They have a prototype for supposed wireless charging. When they IPO, they were the first known company to deal with wireless charging, and that's why it went up so much. Now, there are literally dozens of companies with wireless charging technologies. They're all competing against each other. This technology should be in consumer products in 2015. They're not the only game in town, and they are one of the least funded, most hyped, and the biggest thing, again, going back to that Seeking Alpha expose, which is great, like read it, the insiders just have huge, huge profits. So usually company insiders, you have to have a good company to really cash in. You get acquired, you have big profits, you have big revenues, you change your sector, ideally you're a leader, and the insiders are rewarded. This one, again, has no necessary product, and yet insiders are already rewarded with the stock price. So if you're an insider and you're in at pennies on the dollar and the stock is at 10 or even 9 or even $8 a share, most likely you're going to cash in. That is my thinking as to why I shorted this. And, I'm not just going to short it randomly at 9.5 and say, oh, it's breaking all the support. No. It's in the morning. If you look at the intraday chart, this was a panic. This was a classic morning panic. So you don't necessarily want to short into a morning panic because you don't know how far it can bounce. So it's a step-by-step process, understanding and spotting and recognizing a trade and when to get in. Just because you have the IPO lockup expiration, just because it's cracking support, does not necessarily mean that you should short it right away. The reason why I did short it into this mess here is because it bounced $1 a share. And so now you have a very potentially, negative catalyst happening in 2 days. You have a potentially cracked chart pattern that's just broken. And now you have a little less risk because it's bounced nearly $1 a share off of those lows. So my thinking when I shorted this, in the 1040 region right in here was I think it's going to retest the morning lows here of 950. So that gives me a nice roughly $1 a share of potential profits. If it does break 950, then it's a fucking goner. Sorry for my French, but it is, just dead if it breaks 950 because then you have a lot of fear built in. The shorts get more aggressive. The insiders are like, whoa, let me sell before this thing, really cracks. So I'm not going to say that 950 is going to crack, but I'm pretty much thinking that. And even if it doesn't, if I have to cover my short from 1040 at like 960, if let's say 950 is putting up a fight, boo-hoo, I make 80 cents a share. That's a fantastic trade. So I have a lot of potential reward. Now the question comes in, why am I shorting it at 1040? Why not 1050? Why not 1060? Why not 1080? Why not here at 1020? Because this is also an SSR stock, short sale restriction. So this is a new rule that makes it endlessly frustrating for short sellers to short anything really. And it's to protect companies, if the stock is down too much, short sellers could just short it into oblivion. You just keep shorting into the bid. Right now it's 1021 by 1022. I wouldn't short it here right now midday, but if I, let's say, was just, looking at this right now for the first time and I wanted to short, I might want to short 5,500 shares with a limit of 1016. With the SSR, I cannot. If I wanted to short 5,500 shares here at 1016, on a normal stock, I would get executed. I would just take out these buyers. With this stock, my 5,500 share sell would go right here on the size, on the ask, and I would be pressuring these guys, but I wouldn't be getting executed. I would need an uptick to get short, which is so frustrating. But I understand why, you have that regulation. You don't want short sellers to just short a company into oblivion. That being said, I had to short into the bounce, and that's why I did short at 1040. I didn't know if 1040 was going to be the morning high or not. It could have gone to 1060, could have gone to 1080, but when it's up $1 a share off of these panic lows, that's a pretty good entry. I shorted 5,900 shares, so it's roughly a $60,000, $70,000 position for me, which is small to medium. Usually when I'm trading with like $1 million to 1.2 million, my average position is probably around $75,000 to $100,000. So it's a little bit on the small side, but it's also a little risky because you don't know 100% if the insiders are going to sell. We have seen insider lockup expirations where the stock spikes $2, $3, $4 a share. But I'm not even going to be around for Wednesday when this stock will probably tank or possibly spike. I'm playing in anticipation of a specific news event, and it's probably the only way to play it right now. You can't anticipate that it's going to spike. You can't say, oh, these insiders believe in this technology. It's definitely going to spike. If it does spike, it's going to be a surprise. Because again, going back to that Seeking Alpha expose that's so important is, you know that insiders have big profits. So theoretically, the odds are saying the insiders are going to sell. And because of the chart pattern, because of this, specific catalyst that's 2 days away, that insulates me from any probable spike in the meantime. I don't think any smart, rich trader is going to go into this right now and be like, you know what, the IPO lockup inspiration is in 2 days. I don't care that insiders have shares at, a few pennies. I'm going to protect this stock. I'm going to buy this. I think it spikes. That could happen, but I would say the odds of that are like 5 or 10%. Most likely, most traders who look at this today at any time are going to say, you know what, this stock has a BS technology, no revenues. This is a classic case of bull market. MDB Capital, which brought them to market, has also been behind MVIS, which has pretty much gone bust. UNXL, which has pretty much gone bust, PAMT, which is now HEAR, which has pretty much gone bust. All of these, quote, revolutionary technologies turn out to just be hype. So the odds favor shorting this. And one last indicator that I'm looking at here, if you look at the daily chart, right here there was support at 11.12 and support here at 11.15, but this support here at 10.50 and at 10.30, this is the real support. And if it closes anywhere below this 10.50, 10.30 level, then it is a broken chart. Here, you had panic, but you didn't necessarily have a big catalyst or an IPO lockup expiration coming, so it actually squeezed shorts, $2 a share. Now it's kind of like, come on, guys, you have a potential massive tidal wave of selling in 2 days. The chart has been fading for a while. If it closes below 1030, 1050, technical support, multi-month technical support of this cup and handle is broken, and now it becomes a head and shoulders where this is the left shoulder, this is the head, and then the right shoulder should take it back down to 950 or lower, which would be the 8s or the 7s or the 6s. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm shorting this in the 10s and I'm going to hold to the 8s or the 7s or the 6s. I'm just saying that's most likely where this is headed over the next few days. So it might seem like a simple short, like, oh, Tim's shorting this, IPO lockup expiration. Well, it's not that simple. As I was telling Jai, there are a few indicators that matter here, and I think I've just gone over them. So it's an educated guess. Right now it's 1016 by 1017. I mean, theoretically, somebody should buy here at 1017 and 1018. Why is somebody not buying? You have a lot of support here at 1016, 1012, 1010, 1009. Why are they not buying? Because we don't know how big these sellers are, and we know how big the buyers are. The buyers are showing their hand because they're trying to protect this stock. I wish I could message this guy and be like, you're wrong, but I can't. And so these sellers, I don't know if they're sellers or short sellers, but they're trying to take a short position right now, probably because of all of the reasons I just listed. They think it's going to go back under 10. And if it goes back under 10, I'm filming this at 11 a.m. Eastern. If it goes back under 10 today, okay, there we go. We got some buyers at 1017, 1018. Good. Protect your 1016. Protect your queen. If this goes back under 10 today, then most likely it's going back to the mid 9s or the high 9s. And, tomorrow, the day before IPO lockup expiration, I just can't see any big spike. I can't see that many buyers. There might be some buyers, but I just feel like any buyer later today or tomorrow, if it fades, if it closes strongly, then my whole thesis is busted and I cut losses quickly, 1060, 1070. I lose my 20 cents a share or whatever. I lose like $1,000. If I'm right though, and it does fade later today and potentially has another morning panic tomorrow, then you don't want to be long. I'm trying to just put everything into my head together and say, here are the negatives, here are the positives. This company has a lot more negatives right now than positives. And this wasn't even on my screen. This wasn't on my watch list. This was all done in 5-10 minutes worth of research. Finding the IPO lockup, understanding key past technical levels, and going to work, putting my money where my mouth is, because I found shares to short at Interactive Brokers. There's still shares to short. And we'll see. I'm not looking to cover this at 1016 or 1020 and be like, look at me, I made 18 cents a share. This is the kind of play where you can really hold for, not for 2 days, I'm not saying hold through IPO lockup expiration, but definitely hold till this afternoon. And if it starts fading, if it keeps fading, then that's a good sign. And if it crashes, then I might cover. Like if it goes back to 970, 960, I might just cover today, because then I have my nearly $1 a share profit, which is near best case scenario, no overnight risk, and that might be pretty good. I hope it doesn't crash. I want it to close at like 1010, 1020, because then I'm up 20 or 30 cents a share, and ideally tomorrow we get another one of these kinds of panics where it just crashes from well, this one dropped from 11 down to 950. So if it closes anywhere here at 1020, let's say it crashes through 10 tomorrow, and then you have that retested 950, and I don't know what it's going to do. But that's my setup. This is my short. I'm not even going to post this video until after the trade is done. No, actually, maybe I'll post it now so you can learn real time. We'll see. Thanks, guys. See you.